It's Open House Thursday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Nima Akashat Zabiri, how you doing?
Fine. Happy birthday, Tokwe.
Yay! Shine, shine, baby.
Shine, baby.
How's everything? So, should we come to Tokwe or come to you first?
No, let's just do to Tokwe today. The whole day.
It's your day. You might as well.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
I'm very grateful to God. I'm spending the day at Center for Destitute Empowerment. We're going to be there from around 1 p.m. till like 3 p.m. If you can't get to Idimu, just Google Center for Destitute Management and just come. You want to celebrate with me? Just come to Center for Destitute Empowerment at Idimu. But, you know, evaluating 1 year down the line, within the last 1 year, when I was sitting here last year for the show, God has grown all that I do. You know, God has grown all that I do. At this time last year, we didn't have one estate. We were selling other people's, and now we have 4. And I give all the glory to God.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And I'm praying for more growth for myself and everybody around me, so that, because one person shining is not a shine. It is when everybody around is shining that that's when you sparkle. So my prayer is that by this time next year, it won't be a singular celebration. It will be multiple folds of so many testimonies, millions, thousands of people whose life would have been transformed by all that I do, and friends and family would see that, okay, there is blessing all around. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm
just so proud of you.
Well done.
I don't know what to say. I'm just proud of you. I pray that God will keep. You're hardworking. So when I see you, I see hope. I see hope for young people who will tap in. So it's not just the glitz and the glam. People like to focus on, okay, you're wearing a fine hairstyle, you're wearing glitters. They don't know the work. You were in Abuja yesterday speaking. Yes, you are walking back to back. And I'm happy that God is deciding to favor the works of your hands. That's just the beauty for me. I'm proud of you.
Fantastic. Well done. Well done.
It's come a long way.
You know, Tokwe is an only child. And I see how committed she is to family. For me, those kind of values go a long way for me. Once in a while, she'll be sending me on errands to mommy. Then, you know, it shows commitment. And I see that, you know, she wants this good life, and then she doesn't want to forget, you know, where home is. I see the struggle between. So I appreciate that. I pray that, you know, you show more Gino for
Amen.
Whatever that means.
Happy birthday, Tokwe Makotige. You know, I think you are indeed a blessing to many people. And I always tell the stories of the fact that I've seen your growth. Like, if there's anybody I can say I experienced growth. Like, I literally saw it from when it was in its raw form to where it is today. I experienced it. I can actually tell Tokwe's story. I know others can tell you almost other different side of the story, but I knew how rough Tokwe was in the beginning, how she discovered, hey, so there's an opportunity here. She really, okay, I'm going to go and learn everything about this thing.
Intentionality.
And she went back there and she just studied up. And now she's a guru, training others. Congratulations, well done. You know, it's good to know that people grow around you, and I'm really happy to be.
Thank you, ladies, for celebrating me. Thank you.
I work with you and your sisters on the show.
you.
God bless you. On that note, so we're going to go on a quick break, and we return. We go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, we're going to start with the nation. Quit order. How Buhari shocked ministers at fake. Some people say, Buhari will shock all of us. I'm
telling you.
Tinubu optimistic on ticket. Terrorists kill abducted Catholic priest. Truck kills masquerader in Lagos. Government moves to restart talks with ASU. Appeal court sets aside ruling voiding Electoral Act Section 18. No, Act 84, subsection 12, yes. Nigeria's GDP rises by 3.4%, says NBS. Okay, which story are we starting with? Major headline?
Major headline. So yesterday, drama at fake. The president, having received the Minister for State, that's one Driba's resignation letter, just drag on style to the meeting. So I'd like to read the way the editors in Nation wrote it. They said it was gathered that last night, the decision of the CBN governor to go to court over his presidential ambition fueled the president's anger. So Ibinu, as in vexy. However, he singled out Nwajuiba for braving the odds to quit to avoid being accused of conflict of interest. Now, Nwajuiba incurred the wrath of all other ministers vying for offices. For the provoking
yes, so
that you so out of all of us sure
you are the first to jump and say
daddy should like you.
Daddy don't like you now. Tell our boss, make it
Now we are in trouble. Look at you. But really, that's not exactly how it happened. They said that the chief of staff of the president kept saying to those who had the ambitions to wait for the directive. So Nwajuiba just looks, which directive? He now carries his own letter past the chief of staff to President Jeje and resign. Wow. And so those ones are we looking at. There was a directive they said we should wait for.
I earned it, but it's earned a lot of Nigerians respect
for doing that. Yes, so the federal government has convened a tripartite plus meeting, which is aimed at ending the 83-day strike by university teachers. Now, the Labour Employment Minister, Chris Ngige, will host the meeting. The presidential Muhammadu Buhari's Chief of Staff, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, will be the chairman of the meeting. The leadership of ASU and other unions are to attend the meeting. It's going to be happening in Abuja today. Other invited members are the civil society organizations who are going to be in the meeting. So according to the ASU president, they said that the only thing that will take them back into the classroom is when the 2009 agreement is being implemented, and they went ahead to mention most of the things that they are looking for, most of the components of what they have in the meeting, which is the funding for revitalization of the public universities, payment of end allowances. There's another agreement of, that's the UTAS payment platform that they want. So they also mentioned the fact that when the airline operators decided to go on strike, the federal government quickly ran and attended to them because it was affecting them directly. But now they have had issues over and over, and they keep going back and forth.
Okay, so the former governor of Lagos State, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, went yesterday to submit his form. Yesterday was the closing day. He didn't go alone. Let me tell you one who accompanied him, just to submit one form. Governor of Lagos State was there. The one-time SGF Babashir Lawal was there. Senator Solomon Olamileko Adiola was there. Faleke was there. Yakubu Dogara was there. Ganiyu Solomon was there. Dele Adewale was there. To submit one form. They supported Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And then they all went and said, we feel elated today that we have come to submit the winning form. And we have compiled with one of the major requirements. They haven't compiled all the major requirements. And they're sure that the more the merrier. Even there are 100 or 1,000 contestants that are coming to run, that they know that he will definitely win at the delegates. And they're all welcome. We don't mind. The more the merrier. Let them all come. But we've done all that's required. We have submitted the document. So it's interesting that one candidate was one form, one document.
I was talking about the power of influence. Honestly, that's something you can learn from me. But okay. I want to take a sad story of a truck. But I'm taking this story because of the lesson we must all learn. So a truck carrying plywood crushed a masquerader yesterday on Isolo Road around 2:30 p.m. Now, the truck driver, for whatever reason, maybe the brake failed or something happened, it wasn't like they were speeding, escaped. The truck and the products inside, the wood, was set ablaze. And they were actually going to carry out jungle justice against the truck driver. Thankfully, he was able to run into Area D command, and he almost became a riot. Traditionalists blocked the expressway. It took the police firing tear gas into the air to disperse the crowd. Oh, wow. I know that many Nigerians don't trust the system, but when we take law into our hands,
it's worse off.
Yes, the problem is that innocent people might die. Yeah. See, bystanders, people might lose their properties.
Yeah. You know, Tokwe, when we see all these things happening, is a complete breakdown of the local government. Because they are the closest to the people. They need to actually have more connection with the people, where they are constantly educating, sensitizing, helping them understand how to handle things in situations. Because the governor can't do so much.
You are the
local, the yellow jazz, but these are the people that are closest to the people. Continue having constant meetings with these young people. That's the breakdown of local government
from doing this.
I don't understand.
They always complain they don't have money.
It's not about money. It's influence. You just talk about influence now.
Yes.
Who is the local government chairman in these areas?
Yes.
What are they doing?
Who are they influencing?
They're the closest to the people.
People trust them.
Moving on quickly to the Punch. Ministers exit ahead primaries. Buhari bows to pressure. APC panel may demand resignation letters. It's true now. Come on, Lokoba, the party. Hoodlum invade Lagos hotel, kill guard, rob jam officials. Lagos to demolish 10 more distressed buildings before Sunday. Banks' assets rise by 19%, hit 62.01 trillion naira. Ekiti driver bags life jail for raping student passenger twice. Electoral Act, rep says status quo remains, appeal court voids judgment. INEC plans 3-week suspension of online voter registration. ASU, reps intervene, students shut down Lagos Abeokuta Road. Okay, which stories?
So the protest, the picture story, about 200 ex-military men who fought on the side of Nigeria in the Nigerian Biafra War have staged a protest in Ibadan. They started from Yadi Gate through MTA area, staging the protest and saying that, let me quote the National Coordinator, Babawande Phillips, who said that it was ungodly and wicked to have paid former Biafra soldiers. So we know that the president, and before the end of his first term, issued another, and they paid former Biafra soldiers. And but the Nigerian side of the army said 44 years after, they have not been paid, and they abandoned them. So he calls this ungodly and wicked. And he said that they also served as ex-military men directly under the present president when he was a military administrator himself, and that there's been a 1977 memo by the military government that those who spend 10 years and above should be paid pensions, and that they have not been paid. This group of men should please, be paid something. 44 years, I wonder how. Wow. And when we have unresolved issues like that, you have criminality on it, because the skill that they have, all of that.
And it kills the morale of honest people to continue.
So armed robbers Wednesday killed a security guard identified as Peter during an attack in Mambila Hotel in Ikorodu area. And they said the armed robbers came in about 2:40 a.m. They went into rooms. Every room was attacked, and they were dragging people out, robbing them of their valuables. There were 3 JAM officials who were staying in that hotel that night. They were all robbed. And by the time they were about getting out, the security guard tried to stop them, and then they shot him. He was rushed to the hospital where he died. So the JAM official, they've confirmed the story that they are aware, but none of their officials were killed. And investigations, the police has started carrying out investigations to find these armed robbers.
Okay, I was going to go on a quick break now. When we come back, we continue with the review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So, INEC has planned a 3-week suspension of the online voter registration. According to them, it was important to do that to be able to have those who had already registered online to be able to do the physical registration they had to do. So it's one thing to register online. It's another to actually go for the physical accreditation. So they're going to suspend online for 3 weeks while that backlog is sorted, and then reopen, hopefully by, I think they mentioned that they gave a date here, suspension on June 30th or May 30th. So according to him, the CVR suspension scheduled to begin for May 30th.
For 3 weeks.
For 3 weeks, and hopefully, and then the entire registration is supposed to end by 30th of June. Okay. So we have very little time. So those of you who have not registered, please, you need to really hurry up and register now. Let's move on quickly now.
I have a story. Lagos is about to demolish 10 distressed buildings before Sunday this week. So the statements came from the head of public affairs, Lagos State Building Control Agency, because if I just use the acronym, people might not know what it means. So Adetayo Ashagba said that 10 buildings, in lieu of the building that collapsed at Jeba in Ebutemeta, they've listed 10 buildings that are critical condition, and they said anybody living in those buildings needs to vacate. They're not giving you extra time. Now, rainy season imposes more stress on distressed buildings, and the likelihood of collapse increases. So the conversation is now around, we're not going to give you more time because we are worried about leaving these buildings, and then there's a risk of loss of life when it collapses. So the 10 buildings are around that Ibute Meta area. They listed the buildings and said they're going to demolish before Sunday this week.
Okay, moving on quickly to Vanguard. Buhari's order, Wajuba Akpabio Onu resign. Interestingly, Ngige to consult Buhari for clarification. After, I don't understand the clarification the Honorable Minister is looking for. Anyways, 2023, PDP throws presidential ticket open. Over 10 million girls out of school in Nigeria, says UNICEF. Bandits kill over 14 Taraba village attack. ASU strike, Ogun students shut down Lagos Abeokuta Expressway in protest. 2023 elections, NJC issues fresh policy direction to stop conflicting court orders. Appeal court vacates judgment voiding Section 84, Subsection 12 of the Electoral Act. And ASU begins 2 weeks warning strike May 16th.
So,
okay.
Appeal court, you know the Abia State court order that said that, you know, the Attorney General should just delete the Section 84, Sub 12 of the Electoral Act. So PDP went to the appeal court to say that, number one, the person that brought the matter to court, continue to do, the person that brought the matter to court, what is his concern inside the matter? So the court ruled on his locus and said the matter did not concern him. He had no basis, no connection to the matter. And, you know, that the court also shouldn't have looked into that matter at all because those preliminary issues were not dealt with. But then the appeal court is now saying, you know, that this Section 84.12 is clashing with a section in the Constitution. It's there, but what the PDP brought before it is what it has ruled on, but it's asking, just on the side, looked into the constitutionality of that section and says there's a clash. So they're now looking for who will now bring another process to come and, who has locus to bring process to come and query. So affected persons like the Minister for Justice and all these several ministers who are compelled by this section to resign. And then,
Yes, so the students under the aegis of the National Association of Nigerian Students, NAS, Ogun State, Joint Campus Committee yesterday protested along the Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway. And they were protesting over the 3-month extension of the ASU strike. They had placards with them. They were screaming, enough is enough, end the strike now. Nigerian students are suffering. And they also mentioned that one of the reasons they feel they're still having this strike is because most of our leaders do not have their children in their schools. Exactly. And if this strike does not end, it's going to cause a lot of insecurity. There will be anarchy. Most of the students will resort to things like prostitution, crime, you know, just because an idle mind is the devil's workshop. And so they are appealing, saying that ASU should be more considerate because sometimes they have even supported ASU in their fight. So this is not the time for them to be dragging heads with the federal government, that they need to go back to school and something has to be done about this.
After months of speculation, finally the PDP had their national executive meeting yesterday where they had agreed that David Mark would be the one to chair the Convention Planning Committee, which will be held May 28th at the Eagle Square. More importantly, they've also thrown open. They've thrown open the presidential ticket. What that means that all comers are fair, you know, because they were hoping initially,
the south, the
you know, they were hoping that they would intentionally zone to the southeast. Unfortunately, they've thrown it open. So it's all about, you know, and as just going back to what Umahi said, you know, it's unfair. You know, that, you know, this, because the southeast specifically support, especially PDP. PDP had a huge support from the southeast and south-south region. So there's a lot of discontentment among the parties saying that for you to throw this thing open is very, very unfair. But hey, listen, politics is a game of numbers, and we'll see how that goes.
At this time, it's wrong to not have a place to stand. Stand somewhere.
Yeah. And they finally don't stand.
It's likely going to be both parties throwing it open. I want to take the story of 10 million children out of school. So the United Nations Children Funds, UNICEF, gave a report. This is the Girls' Education Project that puts 10 million children out of school. Out of the 18.5 million children out of school, they say 60%, which are girls, representing 10 million, are out of school. Most of them happen to be out of school in the northern part of Nigeria.
Security.
So they said the insecurity challenges, this worsens the challenge of inequality in terms of gender education. So a lot of money has gone into providing funds for education support within the North. And they said this result has brought about 1.4 million girls now having access to education in northern Nigeria. There's a whole lot more that needs to be done with support and working together with the governments, developmental partners, parents, community, traditional rulers, and religious leaders. We can achieve more girls enrollment in school and ensure they complete full education. We're really looking forward to that, but we know we cannot, if we don't solve this, families depend on. Okay. The more we have women educated, the more we reduce propensity of children having to work or suffering unduly due to the fact that there is no empowerment within the home.
Okay, moving on quickly now to the Nigerian Tribune. Buhari's quit order to ministers with 2023 ambition. Security guard killed as robbers attack JAM official in Lagos hotel. ASU strike. For quick resolution, referred disputes to Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, says Afe Babalola. Appeal court set aside judgment voiding Section 84, subsection 12. We're taking that story. Buhari's chief of staff, Ngige, to meet ASU today. Jonathan has finally made up his mind to recontest presidency, says the news agency of Nigeria reports. And anger as PDP neck throws presidential ticket open. Okay, is any story?
So, Jonathan, I found very funny that, you know, they said barely 48 hours after he disassociated himself, he's now, through his spokesperson, you know, accepted, you know, that he's running because the camp in Bayelsa says that he's now gone to register with the APC in Otuoke, in his ward in Bayelsa State. And so he just said that the president has secured the support of the required APC delegates from across 36 states and he will be running.
Which president?
President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan.
President Goodluck.
Yes.
Wow.
Interesting.
I didn't know you can still pick, you can join a party.
Just commit.
Anyways, I had to go and read up on this clarification that the Honorable Minister of Labour and Employment was saying, Senator Rizky. I had to go and check because I'm like, it was pretty clear to me what the president said. So when you need clarification, I didn't understand it. So what he said was that the president had given a window for those that needed clarification on this pronouncement to meet with him privately. So that's what he meant, that, okay, after years, I can't resign just now. Let me go and meet the president to get clarity because he's holding his position. Let me hear
that one is not even painful. The one that he said, I need to go and consult with my constituents, and I'm wondering...
because he's in trust. Because the position is in trust.
At the time,
you don't know
don't forget the clash.
Yes.
When he was taking like that.
When he became minister, because they did not consult constituency.
Quickly, please. Ariel Nakakanfo has advised that the only thing that will solve ASU and the federal government's problem is by arbitration. That they are going to, according to him, he said, I highly recommend that the parties resolve their dispute through alternative dispute resolution mechanisms, particularly arbitration.
Yes.
Arbitration is not only binding and enforceable between the parties, but is also more flexible as it allows parties more level of control in the process, and it's generally less expensive. Said this back and forth will not work anymore. They just need to go to, and they are going to, preferably to the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators.
As a member, please, refer all matters there.
All right, let's go on a quick break. We're going to come back. It's Thursday. We want our hot topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. It's Thursday, and we love to talk about family and relationships. So today, we're discussing issues concerning polygamy, which has been trending for a while. And the reason why we're bringing up this issue is because we have a man in our midst today to give us clarity. You know, sometimes when you as women talk and talk, we're not sure. When you bring a man in your midst, let us get clarity on this matter, this trending matter of it's okay to have multiple. On what basis? Anyway, we have with us none other than Mr. Jude Oroha to join this conversation. He's a Nollywood actor, producer, director, MC, voiceover artist, and an award-winning actor. Please welcome Oga Jude Oroha to the show. Good to have you on the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
We like to call you Baba Ijiba, but we'll tell our viewers why. We call you that later, not now. But how you doing? Tell us very quickly what you're doing, how it's been with you, before we go into our topic of the day.
Thank you very much. It's really an opportunity to be here again. I was here before.
Yes.
Okay, so I just finished a project.
Oh, great.
A cinema film.
Nice.
EVA.
Oh.
It's about child molestation, child abuse.
Oh, wow.
Produced by Kingsley Omoife, the executive producer, Opa Williams.
Oh, yes.
Director, Pat Okri.
Nice.
And we have actors like Kepi Ekpeyong.
These are
Bimbo
veterans.
Manuel,
Yes.
Shegwan Rize,
Yes, yes.
Bimbo Akintola,
Yeah.
and my humble self.
Yeah.
And there's a stage production that I'm directing,
Right.
Oshari,
Yeah.
by Mega.
Oh,
and
great.
we have actresses like Ngozo Wosu,
So you've been busy.
Hilda
Oh,
Dokubo,
fantastic.
You know, and my hands are full, actually.
I can see that. Fantastic. It's good to know that you're busy. So we'll come back to all you're working on in a bit. But one of the reasons why we wanted you on this show today is this issue of polygamy. Since Yude Doche news broke out and people were complaining, he's not our focus because we've already finished his conversation. But many angles of people saying that polygamy is not against the Bible. You know, men are telling us now that it's okay to have multiple wives. It's better than you committing adultery. And we have our sister here who has always said that, listen, in her religion, it is permissible, you know. So what's your own perspective to this issue of polygamy? Can you handle more than one?
let me just pause here. Now, there are two sides to a coin.
Okay.
When they say polygamy, they always say the man and wives. What about the woman and 3 different men?
Yeah.
I mean, let's look at it the other way around as well. Now, for every action, there must be a reaction. African men are polygamous by nature.
Who told you that?
Who gave you that?
Analogy.
Okay, let's just assume. So let's assume, okay? No, we just put it. I'll write it on the side because I hear that a lot. I don't know where they get it from.
Yes.
They say it so many times it becomes like a normal thing.
It's not a normal thing.
Okay.
Now, I grew up in a polygamous family.
Okay.
And I know the experiences. I know what I've gone through from a polygamous family. Now, like I always say, there are two sides to a coin. Now, what makes the man want to marry another woman? I don't even use the word marry. Maybe get a side chick and keeps that side chick. Although the wife won't even know until maybe the burial of the man.
Okay.
Then things will start, you know.
Yeah, fireworks.
You think the man is just, you know, with a single wife, not knowing that he has affairs here and there. But until his death, you now find out a lot of things. Now, when polygamy started, let me use the word when it started. Right from the days of Solomon, David, you know, many wives and all that, many concubines. It's in the Bible there.
Yeah, we know.
But God was not against it, was he?
No. No, yes, continue.
Good. Now, what it entails right now is this. They say one man, one woman. Who said so?
Adam and Eve.
It's the English people.
No, one man, one woman. Who said so? Is it that they are married, or one man, one woman? I want to understand. And if God actually says polygamy should reign, that means God should have at least bring out 2 women from the ribs of Adam.
Or 4.
Or 4. No, let's start from the beginning, from Genesis. Now, they say one man, one woman. That's in the Bible. But is it our culture?
No.
Debatable.
Okay,
you never answer. Okay, you never answer my question. Can you handle more than one? That question, Mrs. One, you never answer.
For me, I can't handle more than one.
You cannot handle.
For me, that question
for some people, it's
for me.
part-time.
Yes.
For some people, they can do it.
Part-time.
No, not part-time.
Part-time, they cannot handle more than one. Part-time, but
Other times.
No, I cannot handle more than one woman. Please, because one alone is enough for me. Now, the truth be told that there are different sides. And the reason why some men will want to marry another woman is not just because he wants to marry another woman. It might just be because he's looking for a son.
No, leave son first.
No, some people do that.
What about variety?
The first wife gives him maybe
Wait.
5.
I want to write those points down. We'll come back to it. It's not,
the first wife,
for us, it's not an issue. Okay, go ahead. Number one, looking for son.
The first wife gives you 5 girls. And in your culture, you are looking for a man, a boy to take over.
Get another one.
Go and look at fun. That's another reason.
So is that a justifiable reason?
No.
Okay. Somebody else to come in
I'm
here.
open.
Okay.
Right? I'm not saying...
So if you have 5 girls, you will not go and find another one?
Why should I?
Okay, so let's check it.
let me just...
That's my personal opinion.
Okay.
Why should I?
Let me just be sure that, I got you. So your own is that one man, one wife, or one man, plenty wife, or open it. Keep it open. No who says the rules. There are no real rules. Is that it? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, close to it.
You are being careful.
Very careful. Very so careful.
I'm seriously indifferent about it.
Okay.
That's just the truth. Okay. I'm indifferent about it.
The reason is...
I can't tell you, look, you just stick to one woman. No, who am I?
No, this is why I agree with you, because you see, people misunderstand it and think that rule appeals only to men. To women, from where I'm from, if sex is a ground for divorce, in my religion and my exposure, it means that women too are not tied for life to any man, no matter the situation. So because if they say that it's because of sex, men are marrying more than one wife, which is not the reason for most men. Apart from fertility, there are several other issues. For some men, they want a wife for classing, then they want one for peace. You know, whatever the woman brings.
Can't the woman have those qualities?
No, sometimes some women are
Nima, let me take him up. Okay, let me take him up on something he said. That you see, oh sugar, I think I just lost it. Come in here. I lost what I wanted to say.
What I've noticed over time is that we have perpetuated some patriarchal culture, some patriarchal habits, and we've made it a culture, we've made it a norm, and nobody can really trace the history of how it started. We just say that's how men are polygamous, men like variety. If you're eating rice every day, would you not get tired of eating rice every day? So you should eat variety per time, and we've said these things over and over again, that some people actually truly believe that it's the truth, even though it isn't. It is just the consistency of saying something to the point people start believing it. And some men think because they've heard it so much, they feel they cannot, it's impossible for me, or I'm not normal if I'm just sticking to one woman. And that, for me, is the reason we must keep having this conversation. Some people online will say us like, oh, we're bashing men. It's not about that. It's that man that now watches us and feel like, yeah, I'm 50. I've only been with one woman.
Am I normal?
Am I normal? Should I try something else? Is this odd? Because everybody around keeps saying, men are polygamous, you cannot be eating rice alone, you must do that. What would you say to address those kind of situations? People start feeling like, I'm not doing the normal thing.
Okay, the cheapest escapist route is religion to most men. My religion says, let me stick to one woman. And he's growing up under the tutelage of the mother, who is a strict teacher, or the father, who is a preacher. And says, okay, fine, because my father and mother have been together and I've not seen anything like polygamy in their issues, let me go straight and follow the trend of my parents.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm making sense.
However,
society might make you digress.
No, aside from even the monogamy that we think we see, it's not really real. If you put the microscope inside that, no, hold on. If you put the microscope inside that monogamy, you will see that even the pastors, things are coming out showing that they are still doing poly around the corner.
I understand where you're coming from. Some pastors, popular pastors, I won't mention their names.
How did the pastor get into the conversation?
No, I'm just saying that even, we started from Genesis now. Even the people that are holding the tenets of Adam and Eve and monogamy still find ways around it. They still have extras, but they don't show that to the public except it blows.
Isn't that
so
about
what are we telling our people?
Isn't that about indiscipline? Because you see, okay, let me put it this way. Like I said, one man feels that the fact that I have been able to control myself, I'm okay with my wife, we are okay. Yeah. Am I normal? Number one. Number two, another man feels like if she wears skirts and she fits my configuration, I go for it. So there are two people. One person is able to say that this is what I want, I stick to it, I find a way to make it work. Another person says everybody is free for the taking if they fit the spec of what I want. And then we address that indiscipline in those men as culturally acceptable just because they've said it over and over and over and over again. That's the thing I want us to address. That. Is it about indiscipline? Is it about inability to control your urges, because we've seen many cases where you will see a man cheating and you'll be looking at the wife at home and wondering, you get this kind of babe for house. What are you looking for? And see what
let me let
I'll go for inability to control your emotions. Inability to control, because most men find it difficult to control that urge.
Not trained them well. They're not trained.
Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll take a different angle on this conversation. I've not hit the...
You said that
it never hit yet. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have Mr. Jude with us, joining the ladies on this conversation. And you said something earlier. You said that who are you to stop another man from having multiple? That you, for your own self, you can only handle one. But you can't stop another person. But and my question is, what if that other person is your sister's husband, who decides to, your sister is the first wife, and now he says, I want to have somebody else. Would you also say it's okay, or would you advise her to leave, or would you say she should stay? What are your thoughts on this? If your sister is married to somebody who is ready to bring in a second wife, or is cheating on her? Before you even make that decision to marry the guy, I will tell my sister, you knew who you were dealing with in the first place. She didn't know. He was a good guy, nice guy. Then all of a sudden... Child of God, go to church, we went together. After 5 years, I don't born 3. Suddenly now I hear that his own sister, Ejiro, in one place. Oh, definitely. I won't encourage her to leave. Okay, let her to stay.
Why?
Okay. Why would you? Why?
Now I'm enjoying this conversation.
Seriously. Okay, why would you want her to stay?
What's the reason?
Okay, fine. I don't believe in divorce.
Okay.
I don't like the word divorce. I won't sanction. Yes.
So you tell her to stay, even though the man has. So what? Okay.
So even when she's treated wrongly.
Wait now.
Even when she's treated wrongly.
Even when she's beaten up.
Now you're going somewhere else.
Okay. I want to be domestic violence is different.
You hate the violence, yes.
Now she can actually be on her own.
Yes.
Okay.
And not divorce.
Yes.
Separate.
Exactly.
And not remarry. Wow.
Okay, but
are you Paul of the Bible?
Let's go back to the original one that she should stay. What does stay mean? Mean that you share the man? You mean that the guy goes on some days and come back to you another day? What does stay mean? Now, for staying, a lot depends on the circumstances surrounding it, right? If the man is violent, stay on your own. Yeah, of course. If the man is not violent, he's still treating you well, still doing what he's supposed to do as a husband.
His responsibilities.
Yes, stay.
Now, wow, thank God you're not my brother.
I wanted to jump on when Tokpa was talking about cheating. So is cheating the only way to get to polygamy? Is there no deliberate polygamy? So a man who just decides, in my journey in life, there must plenty. And God puts the means, and the man comes to marry Stokwe. You are the apple of my eye. And you are the strawberry of my eye. And he marries them. He actually doesn't cheat with them. He goes all out, weds them, and brings them home. As you are meeting your colleague in the marriage.
We've had issues of a man getting married to twins.
At the same time.
At the same time.
Oh, that one is even something I cannot understand.
You didn't hear about it?
So it's your view. What are your views on this?
No, my own view is, like I said from the beginning, from the onset, I'm totally indifferent about it. And so I do not have anything against a man wanting to get married to another woman. I don't have anything against. That is his own. And you know, one thing we should clarify here is this. If the man is rich enough to, if he can afford it, of course, the poor man cannot afford it.
But poor men
they do. Yeah.
Do you use the word marry, or they just get involved with women?
Get involved.
So when you use the word marry, it's another thing entirely.
So wants to come in here.
I wanted to say that one of the reasons I see polygamy thrive in this part of the world is because we have enabled it, we have excused men for bad behavior. And because there are no consequences for picking different wives at different times, you know, going for variety. Well, hey, he's a man, understand. You go to your father to report, they say, I understand, now he's a man, what will you do? Stay there, don't let another woman drive you away from your house. Men now have taken it as this is how we have been created, this is how we have been made. Somebody made a comment on YouTube and said that it's in the DNA of a man to be polygamous. But can we ask the women what they want? If the table is open for everybody, do you think that women will also want to marry more than one husband?
We don't want to. They mean
well, I seriously think that the woman from our own angle believes that, okay, if this man can do it, some women have that guts to go ahead and do what they want to do. Some.
Yeah.
Marrying them at the same time.
No, but she said she would love to.
I love the boldness.
She said she would love to.
If I marry this one, I leave him. I marry another one there.
But that's the one in 100.
But the boldness.
That's one bold one.
But nothing is stopping her, so as nothing is stopping the men. So if you're a woman and you think, this polygamy thing, they don't to shout, I want to show me. You can take your steps boldly.
And nobody will stop you.
Nobody. Which law want to arrest
now,
you?
back in the days, 60s, 50s, and 70s, men had 3, 4, 5 wives.
Yeah.
It was the in thing then. If you're not, if you don't have 4, 5 wives, you are not a man. That was then, and you will find out that people of this age grade, between the 50, 60, when they were growing up, they grew up under that polygamous family thingy. So, and it's something they think is correct. So they want to continue that trend.
You know, the truth is, as I'm listening to you, I'm decoding that inside.
You may want it.
No, it's not that you may, inside.
You like it.
You are a man, you are defending the polygamy, you are saying it's always been like that. If they give you free hand, you may go have 3. You will have 3. The one for 2 days, the one for 3 days.
I don't have the guts.
Okay. Right. So we have to wrap up on this conversation, but I need to find out what you're working on, because I know that you're working with something with BC and the Mama Ejiro. Tell us about that very quickly before we wrap up. Okay,
Mama Ejiro is still all about the Delta man. And
how many wives does this Delta man have?
If you let her,
no.
Mama Ejiro is there. If you don't let her marry another one,
It just has one wife.
Okay.
we burn the house
But
down.
affairs here and there.
Yes.
You know.
Plenty affairs.
And he respects his wife.
He does.
Yes, no.
They'll find out.
On YouTube.
They'll find out on
When
YouTube.
is it launching out?
20th.
20th of May?
This month, yes.
On YouTube?
On YouTube.
Yeah.
Ah, so how do we get on it?
TV, just subscribe.
Bisuch, okay.
Yeah.
Bisuch.
Yeah,
Yes.
BISUCH TV.
So you get
on
it.
YouTube, yeah.
So who is Mama Ejiro?
The lady seated by my right hand.
Oh, for real? Yeah, Mama Ejiro. I didn't know. I just saw. I didn't know. Oh, fantastic. Oh, great. Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have to wrap up right now. Let's wrap up on this. Thank you so much, sir, for coming. It was a
Thank
pleasure.
you. It was good
That's
having
all we
you.
can take. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So a story caught our attention on social media, which we thought was quite interesting. A young lady said, my friend burst out in tears because she's the one who caters largely for her father and her stepmom and her siblings, obviously their children. According to her, her dad told her he wants to have more kids with his new wife, and she should please assist them with IVF money. And according to her, you can't afford IVF and you want to have twins. And, you know, and that's the issue. But now, that story is something we can link to other stories that have come to the ladies. There's another story of a young woman who is working so hard, but yet her family expects her to be the one to feed and take care of them at home consistently because, hey, why, Jenwomo, you have to take care of your family. Not only that, another story came on where a young lady who works hard is having to feed her older brother, the firstborn, who lives with her. So she's between your 21, 28 kind of young girl, upwardly mobile, has a good job, and she's having to feed her older brother, the elder son, who lives with her. Now, we hear of stories where a man and a woman get married, and the woman is the one running, making all the money. Yes, when you enter the marriage, both of you accept, okay, I'm the one running things. But when you're just you're not yet married, you're single, you're still building your career, but yet you have responsibilities to your parents, in this situation, to your half-siblings, to your elder brother, your other siblings, and you're just a young girl. How do you get out of this? Where does a person like this get help from? Who does she talk to? Who can help her out? That's the conversation, and there are lots of women in this situation. Please call us if you're one of those. We'd like you to join this conversation. Call us on 081-270-53687, 091-390-76948, and also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your view TVC so we can read your tweets. This story is quite heartbreaking because I know a lot of young people. I mean, now, when you say heartbreaking, it depends on how you look at it. Because I've been in these shoes where I was working, my father was sick, my mother wasn't working. Yes, my brothers lived abroad, so they were sending that monthly to my parents, but I also had the responsibility of knowing that everything I earned, yes, I had my savings, but I had to also contribute. So yeah, that part is always there.
Your own case was different.
Yeah, but in this situation, these ladies feel they're overpressured to contribute to the family.
We look at it from the two sides are clearly here. So first, from the side of the person who's supposed to provide, who's well-to-do, and the side of the person who is a dependent, because life is about two sides. There's always going to be that balance and imbalance. They will say it's because of you that God has, because of one person that God has blessed you. So we have to carry both. So we'll address how both parties must support themselves per time. So for this young girl, and the way I see life, if you're in the position to provide, there's a humility, but a strong, assertive stand on how you must do that. Because if you don't put lines and boundaries, the person asking, no go tired to ask.
Yes, sir.
And so you have to give. You will have to be wise. Just recently, and I won't be able to state details, I had someone who said to me, and because this is the way your dad has always done things for us, you have to do it.
Continue.
And I cannot, Muriel, this life, I pray that I exceed but I know my father's magnanimity. No child of his can do that, except, there's grace. And so when somebody now brings that in, it's blackmail. To use that...
Transferring what your daddy used to do to you is blackmail.
It's blackmail. You're asking, that I'm always wondering how this man does it. How, he just lives in his simple little things, everything he has. How do you want me? Have you asked me, where am I, what stage are my children? So that person obviously is somebody comfortably used to getting.
What you said right now reminded me of a story. My younger brother got somebody who came to him recently, about a year ago, because he's a lawyer. So the person was trying to tell my younger brother to do a case for him. Was that reminding my younger brother that my father took only oranges
from him?
As a fee. As a fee, like, your father only oranges.
So let him provide mangoes.
My brother was like, no thank you.
No thank you.
Because they always assume that what your father did.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. Yes.
I also realized that people always push their boundaries. They always try. They always test. So what you allow determines how far they are coming the next time. And this is to all young people out there who are under this burden, who are carrying. So, when you mentioned your case, I laughed. You were trained, you were sent to school, you were trained abroad, everything was good, you were okay, you were working, and then there was a time. So there's something the scripture says, I can't remember where it was said, that your children will wait for you at the gates to prevent poverty and hunger. So that was what you were doing. You had already been given everything you needed to grow and flourish. And at that time, you were filling in for them. You waited for them at the gates. You protected them. And that's the blessing and the joy of every parent that we pray for. That all the sacrifices we put in, when it gets to that point where we can no longer walk, they will be able to stand up for us. That's different from most of these stories that I hear. So this particular one is complaining that the father wants to have other children. So he has children already, but he wants more children. And he wants to use her to pay for the IVF. Why do you want to have children when you do not even have the means to have the children? So they're born for me to train. That's wickedness. Outright wickedness. That's one. Secondly, I see a lot of young girls who, their parents have don't have anything. They have not been given anything. Okay, my mic here. They don't have anything. They've not been given anything. And then these young girls are constantly under the burden of providing for parents who do not have any means to work. So there was one when I was growing up that the parents at the age of 40-something decided to resign, that God called them.
Aww.
And they stopped working, stopped doing business. And this young girl, where about 18, 19 at the time, started doing different things to fend for her parents and train her younger ones in school.
Aww.
That sort of, till today, she cannot even find her feet. That derailed her. That's one. We have parents who, instead of putting in the work when they have the energy, they just chill and feel, I've raised you, you will raise your younger one. That's wickedness. We need to understand the entitlement of people like this and find a way to manage them. So, no, it's very easy for me to say. As the demands are coming, let me even tell you the one that happened to somebody very close to me. The father got another wife after one of their stepmothers died. And then she was planning this trip. She hadn't taken her father abroad, so she came to gist me. She was planning, I'm going to take my father to one of these countries. Let me just have a feel. The father called and said, I hope you're taking me and my girlfriend. So buy tickets for 2 of us.
But now, another matter.
It's not another matter. It's the entitlement. This person you are planning to take, you are saving money to take the father. No, it's not another matter. It's entitlement now. You are saving money to take father. Father is not adding girlfriend. I don't understand. Who gave you the girlfriend?
Well, so, if you love your father, you might pay for the girlfriend.
The reason is because a vacation without the other thing.
And then pay for your vacation, then.
And leave the vacation.
So come to that. But let me come to you, because where do you draw the line within sense of responsibility and sense of entitlement, which PC just described? There's a thin line.
Yeah.
I am responsible to my father, but I also know that to make my father happy, I should also be able to, if I can afford it, put the girlfriend.
If you can afford it.
Yes.
And you want to.
And yes. Okay, so for me, I believe in being responsible. Children must be responsible for their parents. We are getting to the place where I think when I traveled, my first time traveling, I met one of my family members, and I was like, oh, I'm buying this for my mom, I'm buying this for my dad, and the guy looked at me like, I said, and we had this conversation, we haven't chatted in a long time, now, do you send anything to your parents every month? And he said, no, my mom is rich, my dad is rich, like, why should I? I said, no, it's not about that. It's not about them being affluent. It's about the responsibility
as a child
of you taking care of, let them pray for you. So every month you send something, they'll just send in that prayer, they'll send in that grace and favor your way. It's important for us to keep that value of being our brother's keeper and being responsible. But it's foolishness if we allow black tax kill us. And that is essentially what they call black tax, where the weight of the financial burden from every family member pulls you down from being able to live and grow. It's like you're in a pit. You want to climb out of the pit. You have plenty of people around you. You now say, because I'm climbing out of this pit, I'll be carrying them. All of them are not reach anywhere.
Crab mentality.
So you must get ahead into a place of financial, at least a bit of stability, before you can be able to sustainably pull someone else out into financial stability, because you cannot successfully sustain other families. And that is the thing people must get. Some people build their life around the fact that I have a rich uncle or a rich brother or a rich sister, and I will build my family
needs around them.
On them.
I go born for them.
Irresponsible of such person. So it is important for you to understand, I expect them to help me and show me a way to my own financial sustainability.
Let me come to you, Tokwe, because there's a young lady who I spoke. This one is not just that person came to me and she was crying. Now, what you're defining here, the person. This person's brother believes that she's okay because she has an apartment. She gets a monthly income and she has a vehicle. For him, from where they're coming from, they had none of that. So for him, she has reached that stability. You actually have an apartment, you have a car, and you have a monthly salary. She's made.
That's stable enough.
Well, so that's stable enough. So how do you therefore define stability? Who defines it? Is it because now her older brother is depending on her because you have a house?
You have a house.
So the truth is, your older brother can depend, and I'll say this, your older brother can depend on you for a while. As long as you see that he's willing to work. It's like when you're married and there are challenges in the marriage at that time. time financially, you take that burden. If he's not lazy, I have someone that was complaining to me years back about the fact that she stayed in her auntie's house and her auntie's asking her to do house chores
Before.
a lot. I said, but hello, it's not. You should understand. You will help out. It's a normal thing.
It's your house. If
you do it. Sibling, if you're helping out your sibling, understand that you must create a budget for what you are giving. There must be a budget. If I'm earning salary, I say every time, minimum of 20% of your income must go into future investments. 20%. So you put out your tithe, you put out your giving, you put out your 20%, you put out your rent and your car. Whatever is remaining, every family member can jolly well support it. But you must plan the future, because if you have a job today and you don't have a plan to educate yourself to remain relevant in that industry, you will lose that job in a few years' time. And then your income would also diminish. So it is about wisdom of planning.
So let me come to Nima.
Properly.
I get that. So this planning that Tokwe just talked about. So this young, let's take this, and I would use this other lady also as an example. So she has planned it out. That, okay, I only have 10% to work with. But mommy comes from the village. Crying, help your 50%. Brother. Help your brother. You know, and they have that emotional burden. So you are trying to be very objective on what you have for the family. But then you're also connected emotionally to your family, your mom, your aunties, who are saying, help now. You're the only one that has money. So that emotional, can you not be emotional? Is it possible for you not to be emotional?
How do you say no?
To them. How do you say no to people like that?
You say it as it is. You say it as you can, as much as you can. And I'm gifted with family. I have this kind of conversation. You simply say it. It is a blessing when you have a parent who knows that not to overburden one party. I had parents who never asked. They would never ask for anything. So it is only because you were raised to be a responsible child that you do what Tokwe said. Yeah. You remember to go back home. I know uncles that were raised by my father, they would say to me, it's well to do. And you will never even look back, not even to his children, as in even in a form of payback. So that is irresponsible, irresponsibility at the height of it. But you as a child, whenever that kind of body requests keep coming, you need to sit the person that is in between all of you, maybe your mother, and have a conversation, an honest one. There was a time I asked a family friend who kept saying, but you are there now, we saw you on... I said, Auntie, if you see me on TV, you're happy. But if you hear I prostituted, how would you feel? I think you would. She said, now everybody they do. I said, that's exactly the point. So immediately cut off that relationship. Because that parasitic relationship does not care. Whereas the people who birthed me, they would die 10 times if they hear I prostituted. So if I open up to you and tell you this honest conversation, and you're saying, no, but it's normal.
Everybody
cut off, because that's how it is. And if it comes to sibling relationship as well, I'll do the same.
Nima, this lady that I was talking about just sent me a message now. She just says, Mariah, my mom and I are equally afraid of my brother. So obviously he has Kowalayaje. He's the kind of that domineering kind of brother that they can't handle.
No, he cannot put gun.
No.
There's some really hard, strong women.
This actress, Two Faces' wife and her brother. So that's why I said we should put them in our areas. You see, whatever a person does for you, learn in life to reciprocate it in kindness. If a person is being responsible and providing for you, it's the same thing between husbands and wives. Some women just feel entitled. They never, when their husband brings, your daddy have not given me, I still told my daughter yesterday, I said, you have an amazing father who never forgets his role in this family. He's on the road now, he's not back home yet. Don't grow up and forget it. It's important that, even in any relationship, when a person is showing you responsibility, providing, you always match it. You ask yourself, if I cannot give in kind exactly what is giving, maybe money, can I be there for the person? Do something else.
That's if you have sense.
Let me take this call. Kelechi, are you there? I'm sorry for keeping you. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
You're live.
Good morning.
Good morning. Cool.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. Let me start by commending you about your hot topics. They are always hot.
Thank you.
I did see the hotness.
Thank you.
You see, before I make any contribution, let me quickly ask you. I want to beg you for something. You have digested the issue of abusive marriage against women about 3 to 4 times. I commend you for that activism. Okay, it's a good thing. But please find a way to balance it up. Abusive marriage against men. Because in a society, when a man dies in a violent marriage, they say it's an ordinary, it's a normal thing. Nobody talks about it. But when it's a woman, it is blown out of proportion. That aside, I will be happy to hear you talk about it. That aside, let me make this contribution, Mariah. You see, this lady in question, like Papa said, it's a black tax. I would have appreciated if she said it's an African black tax. You see, this black tax born out of the concept our pastors are giving, our Christian priests are giving us. Now God is speaking. You understand? There are so many dimensions to this matter. You understand? Like our Alhaja said, there's nothing wrong. See, for me, there's nothing wrong in feeling entitled. But we have to balance it up. When somebody is giving you, when you are maybe you are the last born and your family, is well-to-do, don't build your destiny around them because they can disappoint you. Yeah. So finally, I want to suggest that lady that came to you, let her meet a professional, just like she has spoken to you. And she believes that you are a life coach. Let her meet a professional. Let her not dream.
Thank you so much, Kelechi. Let me go on a quick break. We're going to come back. We'll continue with this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, so we'll continue our conversation. Yes, Bishop, you're going to go.
Yes, I wanted to say that when it comes to issues like this, it's very good that you take a step back and you compartmentalize. Not everybody has the strength. And some of these people who are very needy and very demanding play on your weakness. They know that you're very emotional. I'm your brother, I'm your sister, I'm your mommy, I'm your daddy. You will not let me suffer. And so they play on that. But they know the extent to get to for those people who they know can compartmentalize. So you can have two siblings in a family. One is very good with creating that boundary and, having that conversation that, I can't do this right now. It's going to tell on me. I need to plan. Give me time. And one who is always, even the money she has saved to start her business, when you come and bend your neck, she will give it to you. They keep going to that person. So they understand how to play on your weaknesses. One of the ways that you can help yourself is to take yourself out of that situation. Find a way to take yourself out of that situation. And make sure, like what I do in my own cases, I work very hard. I know how many jobs I'm doing. I know how many businesses I'm doing. It's not because I don't like my sleep. It's because I know that I don't want to be a burden to somebody else. If you are around me, you will work hard, or we will not have a conversation. It will not work. We will not gel. You cannot come to my house and you sleep till 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., while I'm up by 4 a.m. Somebody has to. We can't stay together. So take yourself out of that situation. If you need to go and get a place where they don't even know where you are staying, till you get to that level. And I always say this to thank some of our parents who tried as much as possible to hold their own till we were strong enough to, what am I even giving to my father today? What am I giving to my mother today? What exactly am I giving to them? But they gave us that opportunity to, get to that.
Flourish.
Yeah, flourish before we now look at them. So every parent should strive to give their children that opportunity to get to a level before you bring them down.
Sometimes, this for a woman, a young girl, you're not thinking about now. You're remembering the sacrifice of your brother when you were young. You're remembering the sacrifice of your father. Maybe your mother died early, and now he has found new love, and he's happy. And you've seen, because you're not just thinking about the fact that he's asking for money now. You are giving him money because of the sacrifice he has made for you. You're also helping your brother because when you had nothing, maybe when he was okay, he thought about you. So you feel that emotionally connected to him. So you don't want to just discard him.
That's not a problem. Those ones are not a problem. I think it becomes a problem when you begin to feel. It's when it goes from love into burden. When it transcends.
So how do you as a girl tell your loved one that, it's becoming a burden?
It's about having that conversation. There's something that I learned very early in my life. The money that I don't have, I cannot spend it.
Exactly.
So I put my monies out of my reach. do my budget is not available. And sincerely, I don't have it. You will see my account balance in no day.
No day.
So before the money comes in,
cannot
I've already
get loan.
planned everything that I'm going to, what the money is going to do. We must have the bitter conversation. So when I resigned from TVC as the head of makeup and wardrobe, my salary dropped. I called my investment person, the insurance guy, Michael. I said, Michael, I used to save this money. I cannot afford to save it anymore. Let's downsize it. Slash by half. No. I said slash by 60%. I called my parents. Mommy, because I've resigned, my salary is no, I'm going to slash your monthly allowance. I slashed everybody's and then sacked my housemaid that was expensive, got a cheaper one. The reality is you must look at what you have.
And work with it.
And don't go taking loans. Now, I understand, may God not put us in a medical challenging situation. So when there is medical, like, I spoke to a friend, and the guy said one of his biggest regrets was he watched his father die, and it was small money, but he just could not raise the funds to help. And he knew that if he had the money, he would have been able to. He regrets it forever. He's built a house for his mom. He's done everything he could, but he always just feels like he wished he had money earlier in life when his father was going through that challenge. Of course, we pray that we never face those ones, but for small issues around, create a budget and stick to it.
Let me take a call and come to Nima. Hassan from Lekki, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Thanks for calling.
Good morning, the executive members.
Executive members.
Well had. Well had. But you see, the issue is not about women. Men go through the same pressure from, what do I call it? I don't want to call them such a ridiculous name. Because we are busy advising a victim. We are not advising the masterminders and the executioners. The parents, you don't put pressure on your children necessarily. It's all right. You are exposing them to danger. You are exposing them to the armed robber. You are exposing them to be anything negative. Look, in this Lagos in 2010, I met a guy. He came for NYS. So the guy told me, he said, look, my father told me, my mom and my father, they called me, sir. They said, look, we train you so that you train your siblings. What a very bad beginning. Somebody undergoing his National Youth Service Corps. You can see. And a lot of girls in this level, when you interact with them, you see the person that is in the best position among you to tell you more about this kind of thing is Nima. Because I know the area she stays. You understand? These are the rugged area. That area you are seeing, that stretch. You are seeing from Maza down. You understand? You see, those are the people that are faced with the reality. You understand? And the way we think, we should begin to talk to the parents.
Thank you very much, Hassan. You see, there's an important point Hassan makes that I don't want us to gloss over, which I think is even extremely more crucial. Hassan said something, that this is the daily reality of young men. The reason why this is a topic is because it's like the women. So this young woman, she's crying because the burden is on her. This young lady I told you that is crying to me also because she's a young woman having to do this. But our young men have the burden every day, taking care of mommy, daddy, younger siblings, paying school fees, and they're not whining about it. So they're not that they're whining, but this is the reality of the average Nigerian man that we are complaining, we are talking about because these are young girls who are having this burden. So should we begin to reevaluate the kind of burden you put on our young men? Because this complaint.
But you also talk
a lot of men are going through this.
Yeah. You know, these responsibilities are created and emphasized by parents. Yeah. When a mother calls her child, and may God rest my grandmother, and says, never allow your younger one to suffer. You just put a group of people on one person for life. And if it's a dying wish,
he will do whatever it takes.
He will never want to renege on it because he will never have the opportunity to come back to you and say, can you amend that burden you just placed? So that person is now running elter-seketa to make sure that those younger ones, who then grew up and say, he's always been the one, rain, sunshine, and so we'll always just go to him. You know, and they will never, only if a few decide to mature, because it takes a sense for someone to break away and say, no, I will not be in that circle. It's too much for him. It's too much for one person. So this example he gave, if you ask a few of the girls in the area that he mentioned,
and their mother that
it's always about, I have younger ones in school, I have this and that, I have that and this. If this was a choice they wanted to make to be a big girls, really, it's their choice, so you can crucify them. But when a girl says, I will do whatever so that some people will never suffer, those people, have they ever said to the person, don't do, let us suffer small. You know, don't you worry. Because really, we don't want it. Or do parents really ask their children, what is the source of this comfort you're giving? What are you giving in exchange?
Let me take this call from Aziz. Aziz from Abuja, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for calling.
Okay. My contribution is in respect to the breadwinner palaver. I would just want to add just one of you, because I'm 29 years and I'm highly disturbed to the breadwinner, challenge. But I believe from the last caller, Mr. Hassan, I think you should emphasize more on our parents need to understand that there are things that when you reach to a certain stage, you need to understand that no, we are coming up. I have a family that I know that the dad, at the age of 60, he's still adding another wife. Hey. So when you look at it from that angle, you already know that there is pressure automatically that is going to build upon that particular family, because if the father is going to bear children, you have not finished building up your family, and you'll be able to start thinking of, okay, you cannot see your younger siblings not going to good schools. So I think we need to sensitize more on, understanding that, okay, the trend has changed. It's not about bearing, because I'm a northern, I understand how, the concept of adding wives, because of having too many children, but I think the trend has changed now. I think.
Thank you very much, Aziz. Thank you very much. I have a message here from someone. It says that my wife and I had a huge fight because I had to stop our building project to use the money to pay for my dad's children's school fees. I think his half siblings. So his dad remarried, and he needed to support his dad in helping with school fees because obviously the man has retired. So he and his wife had plans to build the house. He had to pause that for his responsibility. So these are responsibilities men do every day that we don't even blink.
Let me I remember when I was in the university, I think my final year, I had this two roommates who, one was skilled in making hair. So she was making the hair and sending money home. She was training herself in school. She was taking care of her younger ones and the family. They had nothing. She was from class, she would just book, and she was very good. So she's always booked out. She didn't have time to rest. She didn't have time to even look good herself. Always braiding hair. She would braid hair. She would read. She would braid hair. She would read. Just struggle. I saw the struggle and I felt pain. The second one was like, me, I can't do this kind of stuff.
Sibling.
Yeah, no, the other girl was like, and she had responsibilities at home as well. But she decided to go into runs because it was easy money. So I go to this commissioner today, I go to this governor today, I go to this politician today, and I'm making something and I'm sending home. And the parents were collecting this money without questions. So she will go home, she'll tell us she's going home. There's this tile that the father said he likes, that he wants to change in the bathroom. She'll now gather money and go and change the tiles for them. There's this, they said they now want to be using, yes, a student. They said they now want to be using a washing machine. She'll now do some things. And every time she has a big handbag where tops and clothes and from school. I saw those two lifestyles and I did not wish, I was not happy with the parents. I felt like they had failed in their responsibility. How do you tell this person to stop this act? That this act is evil, when in her mind, I'm just doing this to cater for my family. Now, I've seen also that men are beginning to be very selective now. So when they are dating you, they ask you, how many siblings do you have?
Oh, really?
Yes. Everybody has to wise up. How many siblings do you have? How many jobs? Is your father still working? They want to know because they are running away from women who will come with all those family extra baggages. It brings them down. I think we should appreciate our men who have been doing this for a very long time and beg, like Hassan said, beg our parents to do what you can to allow these people flourish. They will always remember you. A child that is good will always come back home and give you the blessings, but let them live like children and young people.
Let me take this call from Shola. Shola, are you there from Magodo? You're live.
Yes, please.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please. Shola?
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. You are live. Go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you. I want to comment on the polygamy thing that we discussed earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, first let me appreciate for, at least for the first time, questioning the baseless but popularly believed opinion that men are generally polygamous. She has done one great thing that at least she has questioned the origin, and I appreciate that. And I also want to appreciate the man who has left, because he took us to the genesis of family, and that was in the Garden of Eden with Adam and Eve. Now, that God did not create more than one wife for Adam. Now, I want to add more, that if you proceed to the same book of Genesis chapter 5, you will see a retinue of men that were created, that lived, and you always hear them having only one wife. The only exception to them is a man called Lamech, the first one to be polygamous, to have two wives. And it's recorded against him that among all those men, he was the first murderer. Now, let us proceed further to Solomon and Abraham, that people always cite. You know, they did not go without consequences.
Yeah. Right.
No, the Bible recorded those things for us so as to know their mistakes and run away from it. It's not to commend them. God did not approve of them.
Thank you very much for that clarity, Shola.
Let's talk about I wanted to take another angle. One of the things that I have learned is it's not a bad thing to be broke. It's not a bad thing to
it's a situation.
Not have money.
Not have money for a period.
Situation.
When I've had several times when there were huge responsibilities looming and I didn't have the money. So what did I do? Put on my thinking cap. I have a brain.
Solve the problem.
How can I generate the income to make this need?
Yeah.
I'm not thinking, which of my family members should I call? And I think that we need to change that thing. When the bills come, when responsibilities come, it is not who should I call, it is what can I do? Because you have a brain, you have your hands, there is something you can do. At least just don't go and steal. So let us use our thinking faculty. I will come and wash clothes in your house. I would design a course. I would be a lesson teacher. I would do. You will find something to do, but begging should be out of it. Right. And don't put your financial responsibilities on another person.
I got this message from someone. It says, givers never lack, no doubt. But I can say for a fact that many men would have been successful today if not for those responsibilities and burdens bestowed on them early in life. In many cases, they are left to bear the consequences alone when they go broke. So I get that. And yeah, go ahead, Nima.
So the case says some family members are simply unreasonable with their sense of entitlement. No matter what you do, they will always condemn you for not doing enough. Imagine how being on TV makes someone assume you're living large. It's a parasitic relationship. We live in a society where we don't have realistic conversations because we don't want to hurt someone with the truth. Hence, hypocrisy thrives. Yoruba will say, being bloodline doesn't mean you should ruin each other. And that's the way we should see it. There's another tweet I would love to take, but that's the way.
Akpa Martin says that, can a woman also have entitlement mentality towards her husband? That's a different issue.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's absolute. But we're focusing on siblings and children's parents. Responsibilities to parents. I mean, this is, I don't want us to just live without having a solution.
Okay.
Because as I said, young men go through this every day. It doesn't make it right, but our society have almost accepted it that it's your responsibility to take care of your siblings once you've made it. Now, the version of the young girls who are also trying to build themselves, what advice can we give those girls as we wrap up this conversation who are struggling to benefit not just their parents, but their siblings and even younger ones, because they're the only ones that have gotten this stability. And now they feel overburdened with these responsibilities.
Let me quickly say that we've talked to the young girls enough. I'd like to talk to the dependents now. So, as a dependent, what you're going through is not your life. It's not like I'm going to be here all the time, so I must be carried by this person. It's a situation that if you wear thinking cap, like Tokwe said, you get out of it. Yeah. You also be able. Our parents pray some prayers. I always shout, may all of you be blessed. May all of you be equal. May one of you not be a burden on each other. When my mother does that prayer, the amen is very loud because you know how it will seem. That one person, because that's what brings animosity, envy, and all of that, and destroys family. True. If it's not a good situation to be in. So you must start to see it that this situation that I'm in, I must change that situation and do all that you can. And also, while you are there, it is only temporary. So be a gift to the person who's meeting your needs and not forgetting you, because they can prioritize other things and forget you. At least, which police will you use to catch them? You will only talk to all the people who hate them. Because there are people who like that, who risk that hatred and forget those kind of, that I cannot come and kill myself. So if you have a person who is responsible enough and is killing themselves for you, kill yourself in some way. Be a gift to them, blessing. Meet some needs. Sister, let me be the one to help with your children's school.
Just reminded me.
Do school runs.
Just reminded me of something, Nima, because my brother paid my school fees at least the first 2 years when I was in the US. And I can understand how difficult it was for him, because it's not easy. Working, he was married, and he had his own family. And there is his younger sister coming from Nigeria, starting school. He had to pay my school fees, and it was not local fees, it's international fees. So I knew how difficult it was, but I offered myself. I was there, you wake up in the morning, back the kids to school, take them to school, they cook, clean. In fact, just yesterday, interestingly, my mother-in-law were having a conversation. I was not remembering how I used to cry on the phone to my mother, saying, Mommy, you brought me to this place to come and suffer. I'm tired. Everybody will be passing me around, because one auntie will call you from Maryland. How about Michelle this weekend? Maryland, this weekend. And that one will call you from Texas. Hey, Joe, this weekend, come. You know, say, I'm the Aburo transpiring up and down. My mother said, do it with joy. Do it with joy, because your own time is coming.
Yes.
So when your time comes, God will send you your own people.
Your helpers.
So today I sit down and I'm there and I say, this is the one you get it. And I'm going to remember, they're around me, and I think I give you things that even when I was your age, I did it. So if you're a dependent, be a dependent with honor.
Yes.
Honor those who are helping you.
Yes.
Don't take it for granted.
Yes.
And don't make it like an entitlement.
Yes.
Do your own service.
Yes, I like that. Now, I would like to add that one thing that has helped me in life is to know that nobody owes me anything. Nobody. Not even my parents. Nobody owes me anything.
Not even husband.
Not even my husband. If you choose to give me, I will appreciate it. But I will not be a burden. I will always make sure that I bring value. So if the dependents understand that I may not be where I want to be today, but in that place that I am, I have that value. And also remember that he blessed them, male and female, and said, be fruitful and multiply. That means you have the capacity to be whatever it is that you want to be, and your time will come. If you have that mentality, even when you are at that servant level, you will serve with joy, just like Mariah said.
There's a stage, service.
We've said several things, and it's important that when you give, you should give cheerfully. When you are giving with bitterness, anger, and resentment, it invalidates the blessing that should come with your giving. So you need to sit back and reevaluate, do I really want to continue this? Can I find a way to find joy in doing these things I'm doing? That's to the person giving. Create your budget is important for you to escape. Most people are in a state of financial stability. Any small thing, you lose your job, you're back into crisis. So you must find it to consistently keep growing your finances by planning ahead. And I would say one thing: if somebody does not give you or help you, they're not wicked.
They're not your God.
They're not bad. You don't know what anybody else is going through. So don't judge based on their inability to help you. Just pray that God send your own helper your way.
Fantastic. I like that talking, because people see us on TV and just assume we have it. Because this person came on the show the other day.
You know the person.
I think you know the person. Hey,
give me job. You have connect.
So people will send us messages saying, they said their account number. Bro, please send us money. Listen.
From where?
Those if I have the extra, I will give. If you don't have it, just believe that it's true that we really
I will
don't
not give
it.
up my children's
But,
For anybody.
Wake up.
That's all we can take on the show today. I hope we learned a few things as we've tried to share from our own experiences. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.